Hey, I'm Marc Plotkin. I wear a few hats. I'm a musician, producer, entrepreneur, and professor. As a musician, I play saxophone in various bands around New York City. I'm also a singer-songwriter on guitar. I've had the privilege of writing songs and producing records for some amazing artists. Technology is another passion of mine. I've started and sold a few music-related tech companies over the years. And alongside all this, I share what I know as a professor at NYU's Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music. When I think about how AI is changing music, I find it helpful to split it into two main categories. First, there's how AI impacts all the work around the music, things like distribution, marketing, and the business side. Second, there's how AI is influencing the actual creative process of making music. These are quite different, and AI's role varies a lot between them. So let's start with the work around the music. Here, I think AI is already having a big impact on the professional music world. A lot of the time-consuming and repetitive sort of back-office work, things like metadata, tracking submissions, marketing logistics, can now be automated or streamlined using AI, saving both time and money. Here's one example. Artists used to spend a lot of time guessing where to promote their music. Now AI can analyze listener behavior and help pinpoint where attention is already focused. Maybe it recommends specific playlists or targeting followers of a certain influencer. It's essentially running rapid experiments for you, replacing a lot of the guesswork with data-driven suggestions. Another area where AI is changing the game is tool creation. Not everyone in music has a background in coding or tech, but AI is making it easier than ever to build custom tools quickly. Almost every artist or label professional I know has a part of their workflow that frustrates them. Now, instead of hunting for expensive software, they can often just describe the problem to an AI like ChatGPT. It can then help generate code, walk them through getting API credentials, and assist them in building exactly what they need. And it's worth clarifying there, for the most part, the AI isn't doing the work for them. It's helping them build tools that do that work. It's about speeding up the business side of music, making different processes smoother, faster, more affordable. Now, the other side, the second category, AI's impact on the actual creative process. This is where we see tools like generative composition platforms, such as Pseudo or Udio. They're fascinating and they can be fun to play with. I haven't really seen them widely adopted by professionals for their final work. Most pros still cherish the hands-on process of writing and producing music themselves. That said, these tools are beginning to offer new ways for artists to experiment, perhaps to quickly sketch out an idea, discover a novel sound, or find an unexpected melodic fragment that sparks a new direction. So while not replacing the core creative drive for most professionals, AI is adding new colors to the creative palette for some. This is such an interesting topic, and I think one of the most important things is to keep AI in perspective. It's a tool. It's not a replacement for creativity or intention. Think about it like this. Before hammers, people built things entirely by hand. And when the hammer came along, no one said, "Great, now I don't need hands anymore." They said, "This helps me do what I already do, just faster and better." That's how I think about AI and creative work. It doesn't replace the human part. It enhances it. And anyone who's experimented with AI, whether it's writing with ChatGPT or using generative music tools, they learn quickly that if you don't bring a clear idea to the table, you don't get much back. Sure, it can spark a few cool directions, but without an original intention, it tends to just kind of wander. So what's interesting is that AI is starting to commodify parts of the creative process that we used to think were essential. Things like technical execution. I spent years getting, I think, pretty good at saxophone and guitar, and I'm proud of that. But I also recognize that playing at a high level, or even like coding at a high level, is becoming more accessible because AI can help you do it with just a description. And honestly, that's kind of amazing. If I wanted to, generate a specific sound without playing an instrument, there are now tools that can do that. But here's the thing, the idea, the vision behind what I want to make, that part is not being commodified. That's the part AI cannot supply. So I think that the people who will thrive in this AI era are the ones who know how to lead with vision, people who are creative thinkers who know what they want to make and why. Craft will always matter, and we should respect the time and effort it takes to master it. But increasingly, the real value is shifting toward the idea. What's the story you want to tell? What's the song you want to write? What business do you want to build? That's why I'm trying to use AI in a way that frees me up. It's not replacing me. If I can offload some of the time-consuming work, like marketing or admin, then I have more space to focus on the things only I can do, like coming up with the next song or designing the vision for a project. Whether I end up writing that song with an acoustic guitar or with the help of AI, the value is still rooted in how much time, energy, and thought I give to the idea behind it. Again, that's the part I don't think AI can touch. In fact, I think it's going to become even more important because as tools get better at helping us with the craft, the fundamental question becomes, what do you want to make? Again, AI is a tool. Just like any other tool, it can be used constructively or destructively. It all depends on how specific models are trained and how people choose to use them. On the positive side, AI can help restore and archive rare recordings, transcribe lyrics in low-resource languages, and make global music more accessible. It can also act as a creative partner, letting artists explore traditional styles or instruments they might not otherwise encounter. And when recommendation algorithms are tuned thoughtfully, they can indeed surface non-mainstream music to broader audiences. There are also real risks. For example, if an AI model is mostly trained on, say, Western or mainstream music, its output is naturally gonna reflect that bias. And that can certainly lead to like a flattening of the cultural nuance. And if someone uses AI to mimic some style that's underrepresented and they don't credit or involve that community, that can feel like it's crossing into cultural appropriation. So in the end, it really comes down to intentionality. If we build and use these tools with care, pulling from diverse sources, including the right voices, and respecting cultural context, then AI can absolutely amplify rather than erase. All right, for any young artist starting out, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. It's hard to name like just one first step. I think there are at least 3 really important ones I'd start out thinking about. Okay, so first, I'm gonna quote Steve Martin, "Be so good they can't ignore you." You have to be excellent. That could mean excellence in your craft, your ideas, ideally both. Nothing replaces having fantastic songs. If the music isn't strong, none of the next steps matter. So before anything else, just focus on making something truly great. Second, once your music is there, your next job is to build an audience. All roads lead to that. If you want to stay independent, you're going to need an audience to sustain you. If you want to sign with, say, a major label, the truth is, labels aren't looking for artists, they're looking for audiences. So either way, once you've made the thing you want to make, your focus has to shift to finding the people who are going to connect with it. Okay, so what does it mean to focus on your audience? It means taking the music you've made, whether that's a home recording or a local show, and using it to connect with real people. Share it widely, test it, see who reacts to what part of it. Don't assume you know who your audience is. You got to discover them. So look for patterns in who responds to the songs, who else do they listen to, what playlists do they like, what creators do they follow. That kind of data helps you find more people like them. Then once you understand that, you can reach out to playlist curators, social accounts, or partners where your audience already exists and say, hey, your fans would probably like this too. That's how you grow, not randomly, but like very intentionally. And third, once the music and audience are working, you have to think about sustainability. Streaming, realistically, isn't a full business model. Think of it more as a discovery tool. So you absolutely need to give people clear ways to support you directly. This could be through merch, sync licensing, exclusive content, subscriptions like Patreon, crowdfunding, or even by simply telling your fans, if you like what I'm doing, here's how you can help me keep going on this. One of the most common reasons artists burn out isn't a lack of talent or even reach. It's that they're scared to ask for support. And when they don't ask, all they're left with is a few streaming pennies. So think broadly about what support looks like for you. Playing live, selling art, collaborating, whatever fits in your work. So in short, make excellent work, find your audience through real testing and learning, and give them meaningful ways to support you. That's how you build something that lasts. I think if I had to give one piece of advice, it's more of a soft skill than a hard skill. You gotta fall in love with a process. So I would say try a lot of different things, and what you're really looking for is something where the doing of it feels rewarding. Because if you enjoy the process, then whatever comes from it, success, recognition, money, that's just cherry on top stuff. It's a cliche, but it's true. It's like really about the journey, not the destination. Because it's surprisingly easy to end up on a path that you hate day in and day out. And yeah, maybe that path leads to something great in the end, but you've spent your years not enjoying your life. And what if you don't make it to the end? What if you get hit by a bus halfway there? I'd rather know that I spent my time doing work I actually enjoyed. Of course, I want the things I'm building to lead somewhere meaningful, but if they don't, or if the outcome isn't what I hoped, it wasn't wasted time if I liked the work itself. And I think especially when you're young, you mostly hear stories about outcomes. This person sold a company for $1 billion, and this person's gonna tour stadiums, but no one really tells you whether they liked the day-to-day work it took to get there. So I'd say, for the most part, ignore those end stories, at least at first. Focus instead on finding a process you actually love. Because the truth is, everything good in life comes from really hard work, but I just don't think most people can or should consistently put in that kind of hard work unless it's on something they genuinely enjoy doing. So if you love the process, the hard work becomes something you want to do, not something you have to force. And I think at that point, you're never going to look back and call that wasted time.